Hello again, everyone. Edwin Lerner back once again. In this YouTube astrological segment, I'm going to be talking about the September 21st, 2025 solar eclipse in Virgo, part 2 of 2. And, first off, in some instances, this eclipse, a solar eclipse, can manifest in the departure of a male figure that played a provocative role in one's life. Now, it could be, a husband, father, or prominent male figure. Maybe somebody that actually has a Virgo sun, moon, or ascendant, or one that embodies those characteristics, and maybe someone that was meticulous, punctilious with details, organized, cerebral, intellectual, yet cynical, critical, and judgmental. Now, let's say if it falls in the 7th house, it could be, the marriage partner, significant other, even an important friend in some cases. 7th house is relationships. Now, if it falls in the 10th house, it can increase the chances of it being, the dominant pair, which is often, the father or an authority figure. Now, if it falls in the 11th house, it could be a prominent friend. Now, it's also important to look at the electional aspects this makes at this time, as this could impact how it affects others collectively. Now, the solar eclipse in Virgo is going to make an opposition to Saturn in Pisces. Now, by itself, it could manifest in what the person wants, because the sun is what we want, and opposing what the person may be concentrating on, which is Saturn. Now, some people may decide to start something, new related to work and employment, which is in Virgo, of course. And with the opposition to Saturn, it may oppose and conflict, with one's concentration on spirituality, relaxation, and rest. This may not seem anything, that's overly significant or monumental, but because this does fall on a solar eclipse, this could be, something that may actually be of very monumental importance. It might, be something more prodigious, than you would expect. And for many, there may be difficulties with addiction, which is connected with Pisces, that conflicts with starting something associated with employment, diet, fitness, or nutrition, again, which is Virgo. Now, some believe this opposition can manifest in some, like a karmic reset or release. And, karmic reset is letting go of redundant patterns. And it can be about confronting the truth and reality about, Pisces related issues, associated with, could be lethargy, indolence, addiction, apathy, procrastination. And the challenge is really to, get away, extricate oneself from these issues and focus on organization and really productive work routines and productive work and employment and routines. Now, also, too, what's actually important as well are other electional transits at this time, and because they will be strongly intensified and amplified because they're taking place at the same time as this solar eclipse in Virgo. Now, Jupiter in Cancer is going to be making a trine to the North Node in Pisces. Now, by itself, it may, could be excellent timing. Well, first off, by itself, it could give certain prosperity and be auspicious for going after one's future. And, also, it could be, by itself as well, it could be really excellent timing, for expanding horizons and going outside the box, so to speak. Now, more specifically, it could be a time or period where one could have really strong emotional sagacity, emotional wisdom, and where it's beneficial, in terms of going after one's spiritual mission and purpose. And the fact, again, that this is going to fall on a solar eclipse, it can be more, intensified, amplified, and pronounced at this time. Now, also, in addition, what's essential are other transits to your natal chart at this time, because they're going to be accentuated because they're taking place at the same time as the solar eclipse in Virgo. Now, transit Venus in Virgo, it will be making a conjunction, to my natal south node. And this can manifest in a number of ways. One way it may be expressed, it could be going away from, south node is what we're going away from in astrology, going away from analytical amusement and enjoyment, which may have been sports related. Analytical, is Virgo. Amusement and enjoyment. Enjoyment is really, really about it could be connected with Venus, and then the fifth house is what's sports related. And it could even be, again, going away from some possible intellectual, analytical amusement and enjoyment, which may have been sports related, such as extrapolating sports data and statistics. Now, I hope it's not really going away from that completely, because I am really enamored with sports. Now, but it could be, leaving behind, valuing frugality. South Node, again, is leaving behind. Venus is what we value. Frugality can be connected with Virgo, and which may have strongly impacted my enjoyment, which is the fifth house. Now, I hope this isn't a possible passing or departure of a connection with a Virgo sun, moon, or ascendant person, or one that embodies those characteristics. Now, it's another thing about, solar eclipses. Now, this could be a time where, solar eclipse can often manifest in where one may accomplish something that may have seemed or been perceived as insurmountable or unattainable. Now, let's say, for example, somebody has this solar eclipse in Virgo in their fifth house of sports and games. Now, let's say hypothetically, it's a situation where you have a friend that was going to participate in a chess tournament, right? And he or she, becomes sickly and has to drop out of it. For whatever reason, you're called upon to replace this person. Now, you have a certain ability for chess, right? But it's been some time since you've played it. You're a little bit skeptical about this and may not have the overabundance of confidence regarding this. You're unsure how you will perform doing this. Now, since you're going to be going up against somebody that's very proficient in chess and plays at an expert level, you replace your friend in the competition, and you do surprisingly well. Not only were you competitive in this event, but you also emerged victorious as an example. Now, another thing too about solar eclipses could be expressed in something that is serendipitous. Something that may have started out as negative may result in something positive. Let's say, hypothetically, somebody is having this solar eclipse in Virgo, the sign of work and employment, and it falls in the 12th house of chemicals. At their place of work, there's some chemical accident or explosion or what have you, and the worker becomes injured as a result and has to go to the hospital. Now, he or she, having the transit, talks with somebody there, goes into some analysis regarding chemicals. They're shown they're really knowledgeable about this. And the person that he or she talks to suggests that that person talking about these chemicals and the analysis connected with them should start training or embark on a position, say, as an analytical, which is Virgo, a chemist, which is, 12th house is chemistry and chemicals. So, this is where, again, you could have something serendipitous connected with the eclipse, where something starts out as negative but ultimately can result in something positive. On September 21st, 2025, the day of the solar eclipse, there's going to be something called like a West Marin Connect, which will take place in Point Reyes Station in California. And it's a resource, which will include information and assistance on workforce programs. Now, this may not sound like anything of great importance, but the fact this falls on the solar eclipse can give added significance to it. And somebody going to this event may make a decision connected with work and may have a monumental importance in their life and could be life altering. Now, on the same day of the eclipse, there's going to be some holistic health fair held in Youngstown, Ohio. Now, again, this may not sound like anything of any great, significance, anything earth-shattering or what have you, but people that go there, may find something that gets them on the right track as far as health and nutrition goes. For example, somebody could, find or discover some kind of topical analgesic that could alleviate, some kind of muscle pain that the person may have had for a prolonged time, and it may be something, that they did not know about, and it could give enough relief to the point where the person winds up becoming more physically functional and more productive as a result. So, it could be something for some people where this can be like, life-altering experience. The fact this is falling on the day of the solar eclipse, and somebody may make a connection with another person that is beneficial to him or her, for a prolonged or sustained period. And what I want to close with, anybody, I would say on the solar eclipse day, if there is any job fair or, health or fitness expo or what have you, it could be a time to capitalize. It could be a very auspicious period to go to it, because you're talking about, the fact it's falling on a solar eclipse. And I think that, the results on average may be more auspicious and beneficial for people at this time. So anyway, people, that'll conclude this YouTube astrological segment. Until next time, Edwin Leonard saying, stay well.